In this video we will try and solve a couple of exercises about the previous topic that we discussed, which is lists in Python programming. I have selected two exercises for us. The first one asks us to write a Python program to sum all the items in a list. And the second one asks us to find the largest element in a list. As you can see, I have already declared the list, which contains 5 elements. Now let's try and solve the first exercise. In order to sum all the elements of the list, we have to iterate throughout all the list and access each element individually. Now, how can we do that in Python? First, we have to iterate, and the syntax for iterating a list, as we know, is for. Now we have to declare a temporary variable to save the value of each element. In this case, I'm going to call it number. Then in the keyword in and the name of the variable where we saved our list, which is in this case is my list. We will need another variable to save the sum of all the list, and in this case I'm going to call it sum and initialize it with 0. So for each iteration I will have to increase the value of the variable sum with the value of each element of the list. Now when the for loop is over, we can try and print the value of the sum and see if we correctly solved the exercise. So we can see that the value, the total sum of the list is 29, which is correct. Now there is another way we could do this, or better, if I rephrase my sentence, is a better way to write this solution. For example, what we can do is take all of this logic and put it in a function. I will declare a function and call it sum of list. It will take as a parameter a list, in this case is my list, and then I will take all of the logic and put it inside the body of the function. Now when the logic is over, we have to return the value, the variable sum, and then what we can do is call this function and print the return value of the function, and it should give us the same output. So we can see the output is the same as 29. Now let's try and solve the second exercise. The second exercise asks us to write a program to get the largest number from the list. So again, we will have to declare a function, and I'm going to call this one get largest number from list. We will have to give it as a parameter a list, and in this case is our variable my list. We need a variable to save the value of the largest number. In this case, I'm going to call this variable max, and I will initialize it with the first value of the list. Now, in order to check which is the largest number of the list, we will have to iterate throughout of all the elements of the list and check if the value of each element is bigger than the value of the variable max. Now we have to check if the value of max, so the variable max, is less than the value of the variable number. In this case, we will have to give max the value of number. When we have done all the checking and we iterated throughout all the list, we have to return the value. And now let's try and call this function and see if it will return us the value 22. So that's correct. The largest number of the list is 22.